Just before we get started with the episode, I have some news for you. As always, support Canadian independent wrestling. Starting first with The Heat is On by Barry Wrestling. That is going to be happening Saturday, August the 13th at 49 Ferris Lane. The doors open at 4:30. Bell time is at 5 p.m. Get your tickets wherever they are available for Barry Wrestling. And then how about it? The one and only Pro Wrestling Ontario. And just John, I have a show for you. How do you feel about this show? How do you feel about it?
Pretty good.
Great, because it is Once Upon a Time in Hamilton, where Pro Wrestling Ontario meets New School Wrestling. Oh, yes, a double header, a double promotion colliding. That is going to be happening on Sunday, August the 14th. That is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hamilton. Once again, get your tickets wherever they are available. And how about it? Last on the docket, Smash Wrestling. It has made its return. That happened not too long ago, and they've got themselves another show coming up in September the 18th, to be exact, at the Toronto Rec Room, right in the heart of downtown Toronto. International Fight Night. Get your tickets wherever they are available. John, are we going?
Probably.
Woo! And until then, on with the show. Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode 20. It is not your typical warm, fuzzy wrestling podcast. It is I, Roddy Johnson, alongside Hollywood Just John. How's it going, buddy?
I like it. I like that one.
Yeah.
Much better.
I know.
Much better than last time.
It has been a minute since we have convened, since we have hit the studio of Colossal Tussle.
Yep.
How's things been?
It's been going.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going.
Mm-hmm.
How are things with you?
Not bad. I've been enjoying my little hiatus in between being healthy and not healthy. But we're here, we're back, we're live and in living Technicolor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, buddy.
Yeah. So, listen, we've got Starrcade 1996.
We do, yep.
The big time, baby. This is WCW's WrestleMania. Yeah. And we're going to be reviewing it, sir. But before we review, okay, we've been gone a long old time. We need to discuss all the things that have been going on. Yep. In current day pro wrestling, we must begrudgingly get out of the DeLorean, take a look around in the current landscape of things, and see how we're getting on.
Let's do it. There's been a lot of changes recently to the wrestling scene.
Indeed.
With Vince's firing.
Yeah. Stepping down retirement.
That's what we're calling it.
Going off into the sunset of his own accord.
Okay. All right, so him retiring, and that whole company kind of being flipped on its head.
Indeed.
It's been a wild couple weeks.
Yes. Yep. And how have you been enjoying the on-screen television production of the WWE? Has the creative already done a massive leap for you?
Not yet, but you can see that there is steps being taken in the right direction. But again, they have to kind of undo what the previous creative team has done. So but still kind of make it make sense instead of being like, hey, fuck it, it's a new creative team, right?
Yeah. New dawn, new day.
Exactly. So instead of just being like, fuck it, and starting from zero, they actually they're trying to fix things while still keeping some of the feuds going and then, kind of ending some of the feuds that been happening.
Indeed.
It's not perfect. Like I wouldn't say, for people that haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in years, I wouldn't say like to jump right back in.
It's still, you're not saying go dip your toe in again?
Not yet. No? Not yet. They're taking the steps, but I think they're still like at least 2 more pay-per-views away from getting to where they want to be. You know, I think after Clash at the Castle?
Yeah, they're going to the UK.
Yeah, I think that's gonna set up most of what's gonna happen in the next couple months. And I think maybe after that pay-per-view might be the time to actually start going back and taking a look at some of the episodes that have been going on.
Indeed. Do you think that Roman Reigns loses at Clash at the Castle?
Nah, I don't think so.
No,
not to Drew.
No,
I don't think he drops
it. In the UK?
Nah, I don't think he drops it to Drew.
Wow.
Like that would be a ballsy move, but like after the way they built him up over the years, unless Drew does something, spectacular, I don't see him just, hitting a Claymore for the win. Wow. But I have been wrong many times on this podcast.
Many times.
So I could be wrong on this one.
Well, you never know. There could be a predictions contest between us. Yeah,
we
for the Clash at the Castle.
For a while.
Yeah, I know. But on the horizon, we're gonna be completing this WCW venture at some point, and perhaps in between this season and the next season that we're going to announce, maybe we have a couple of stop gaps in between. Maybe one of them is 1995 WWF if I win.
Yeah, I'll be down. I'll be down for another little prediction battle. Those were always fun.
Yes. And across the way, the WWE is looking out their window and they're like, "Oh my God, what is AEW doing over there?" How have you been feeling? How have you been feeling about all elite wrestling? I mean, just what day is this today? Thursday. Just yesterday, CM Punk made his triumphant return from having shattered his fucking foot. Shattered his foot, not just broke it, shattered it.
Yeah.
Off of doing a stage dive of all things. No wonder he was fucking up all those springboard moves.
It was the stage dive to the crowd, right?
I believe so. Yeah, where he smashed his foot right on the rail like an idiot. He failed to do all those springboard things. We know why now.
It's bad when even the fans are like, "Please don't come towards us."
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just high vibes. That's it. Yeah. But how are you feeling on AEW ground? Because I will go on the record. I will say I have not been watching WWE. I still do not care. SummerSlam main evented by Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar does not do it for me. It does not tickle my scrotum. Even with Vince McMahon being retired, I don't give shit. But AEW, on the other hand, has been entertaining me quite thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that with WWE, it's like a love-hate relationship with me. So I'm always gonna be fucking watching it, even when it's god awful. But AEW, I don't know. They're in a weird place right now with them not having that star power
Mm.
that they had at the beginning of the year, just because of all the fucking injuries
Mhm.
with Kenny and CM Punk, the whole stuff with Hangman Page. Like they're slow. They're still putting on great matches.
Yes.
Just from a storyline point of view, it's kind of I don't want to say boring, but it's kind of boring from a storyline point of view. If you just like watching matches,
Mhm.
like if you just want to see the best wrestlers out, they still have some great matches like every week.
Mhm.
But just from a storyline point of view, it's kind of been slow in their thing. And now they're starting to kick off the tournament for the trios tag titles.
Yep, the trios titles.
So there's definitely going to be a lot of good wrestling coming up in the next couple weeks.
So.
Yeah,
I would say so. And I mean, I think they've been holding it down. I think they've been holding it down. I think the Jon Moxley world title run that he's been going on so far has done great things for him. I think this is a much better run than his first time around, which, I mean, the bar was sadly low for that one because there was no fans.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot that could be done. Moxley has always gotten the short end of a stick when he holds a world title, sadly. But I think this one has done him quite wonders, especially yesterday with the Jericho match, the Lionheart coming back out.
Yeah.
And so I think John has been doing well there.
What's your prediction? What's the outcome for Punk Moxley?
Oh, Punk is winning.
Really?
Punk is definitely going to win. Because they have some stories to tell,
Okay.
And I think that Punk is holding on to this title. MJF is going to be waltzing right on back in there. They've got some unfinished business. And I think the best thing that they could be doing right now is having MJF as the AEW World Champion sooner rather than later, because when he is on television, he's definitely a needle mover, and he's definitely a person to watch. He's been off, and no one's talked about him or done anything to him, and I'm starting to feel like people don't care anymore.
Well, more important than the AEW championship, who do you think is winning the women's tag title tournament in WWE? We gotta get down to the important stuff.
Are they doing one of those?
Yeah, so for those of you who probably don't know, once Sasha and Naomi vacated the titles, Vince said they were going to do a tag tournament.
Yes, and that never happened.
Yeah, because he looked around and was like, oh, I don't have any tag teams for this tournament. But, Triple H, he's like, fuck it. And they're doing a tournament. They put some...
With who?
They just slapped some names together, and they're like, all right, we're doing a tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's in it? Do we know? Or are they just being announced like...
No, the tournament started.
Okay. Oh my God.
Listen, if I were more professional, I would have had the list on me.
Well, okay.
But I'm not.
What I know for a fact is that Bayley has herself a new stable.
Yeah, her team is in it.
Okay.
Her team is in it.
Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
And Io Shirai.
Yep.
Although I think they've changed that name, but whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Io
but
Sky.
I think them two are gonna win it. That's my bold prediction.
They're the only actual team in this.
So there you go. Put a women's title on Bayley.
I give props to Triple H for making sure that he's taking care of the women's division, but we could have waited a couple more weeks so we had a couple proper teams.
We could have. But I mean, at least they're throwing something at the wall, I guess.
Fuck it.
Fucking who knows?
Something's gotta stick.
Yeah, but I imagine that Kenny Omega is going to be on his way back because they've introduced the trios titles.
Yep, and the Bucks don't have a tag partner because in a surprising turn, Hangman's decided to team up with the Dark Order.
Yes,
and I know he is the leader of the Dark Order technically, but I always thought they were gonna do Young Bucks, Hangman, give them the titles.
You would think. Yeah. But no, I think Mr.
It's
Omega
gonna be Kenny.
is on his way back.
It's gonna
Yes,
be Kenny.
which means, as you were saying, about the star power being lacking and all that stuff. If we got Omega back, we've got CM Punk back. We're on the road to All Out.
MJF's
Daniel
on his
Bryan
way
has got to be
somewhere.
Bryan Danielson has got to
Mhm.
be coming. We could be getting a lot of the star power back in
Yep.
time for their biggest show of the year, which is desperately needed. Although I feel that they've been holding their own. And I think they're starting to do a couple of cool things with turning baby faces and giving them pushes, like the Acclaimed, Ricky Starks,
Yes.
etc., etc. Jungle Boy is getting his own singles stardom here. Darby Allin just won against Brody King, which was pretty good. So they've got a crop of talent baby faces, homegrown, that I think they're now going to start putting in more prominent positions, which could only be good things.
Yeah, because I think they heard the fans after the whole New Japan stuff. They heard the fans.
It was a mess. Fucking mess.
Even you mentioned it here that they haven't really put too much focus on their own guys.
Yeah, I just wanted one video package shot.
And I think they heard that, and they're fully committed to pushing their own talent as long as they're not women. So real quick, just before we end this and we get back in our DeLorean, what are your thoughts on the whole rumors and all that, saying that there's a lot of AEW people and just a lot of independent wrestlers that kind of signed contracts while Vince was in power, and now that it's Trips that's in power, they're kind of like, fuck. I kind of want to go back to do you think there's going to be a lot of people jumping ship back to WWE? Yeah,
I think there's going to be quite the bidding war in the next couple of years, for sure, as contracts begin to come up. And if Triple H and the dynamic there does in fact improve and or change wrestling wise. It was nice to see Karrion Kross show back up there. I'm really happy with that. Dexter Lumis is apparently the fucking all right, whatever. But it goes to show that Triple H is taking a look at talent, not only that the hardcore fan base has been up in arms about, but also the unknown people or the people that have fallen by the wayside that you wouldn't have thought of in your top 10 picks of WWE returns. So that could prove good things for the 180,000 people that were fired over the course of the pandemic. So I think the bidding war is going to be really good, and I'm hoping that also translate onto the television screen, where people will be either fighting to make themselves look really good for AEW and or WWE, or they're fighting to make themselves look really good to show the competition, to show the other guys, hey, you need to choose me because I'm worth more money elsewhere. And I think that could do good things.
I'm looking forward to that shit, man. This is going to be a good couple years in wrestling. If everything plays out the way I think it's going to play out, this is going to be a good couple years for wrestling.
Because we've still got a weird landscape in the WWE back there. It's not going to change overnight. And I still think that AEW,
a little tug of war going on in the back.
I still think AEW, although they are having a real fucking struggle getting everybody on the show and getting everybody proper, TV time and exposure. Miro's getting lost on the wayside. Ethan Page getting lost on the wayside. Ricky Starks was until he did the turn, and then a lot of people, even Hook, who's getting huge reactions, is not really getting a prominent place most weeks. Right? So they're having a struggle with that, but I still think the creative dynamic and freedom in AEW is probably going to be the clincher as to people that really want to express their creative liberties can there. And I still think WWE are still going to cater to children and be a bit more strict.
That's fair.
Yeah. And not to mention, you've trained all of these people to be script, detail every spot, make everything look incredibly fucking choreographed and contrived. You have to now deprogram all of these people if that's what you want to do. That's gonna be a fucking mess.
There's I forgot who the wrestler was. if you guys remember who it is, just tweet me. Yeah, because there was one wrestler I forgot her name or his name, but they came from that system of scripted, promos, and then they even said like when they went to AEW, and they just kind of handed them a mic and were like, go out there. They're kind of like,
excuse me,
So it's gonna be hard to untrain a lot of those because some people are just naturals and they could just grab a mic and go say some shit. But some people still need that scripted formula.
Some people are just used to it.
Exactly.
Like if you've been WWE lifer, like I don't know why Mark Henry's in AEW.
Well, he only has like one line.
Time
for the main event.
Oh man,
and that's it.
Like there's some of them that just get used to it, and they're just like, oh, we have to run this by the boss, or we have to, think about when is our script coming. What, no. So I think that's going to be a real clincher for AEW and people that want that creative freedom.
Yeah,
it's just about finding a spot on the TV in order to get that to happen, and I don't know where they're gonna find it.
Yeah, because if they had the second show like how WWE has Raw and SmackDown, but their second show is more sort of like a filler.
Yeah, it's a B show. It's definitely a B.
Yeah, it's not really like, oh, this is where the rest of our talent can get some time to shine. It's like an hour.
Exactly.
Like at 11 at fucking night on a Friday. So it's like, kind of hard to watch that one, right?
Difficult to get exposure, but we'll see. We'll see. That part of it makes it an interesting time to be watching the wrestling. But yeah, I still won't watch WWE.
Fair. That's why I'm here, buddy. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and I'm glad you are. Meanwhile, I have been supporting Canadian independent wrestling. I have been a physical presence at the Canadian independent wrestling shows.
That's fair.
I have been doing the groundwork on the ground floor.
That's fair.
Because I went to go and see a wrestling show. While you were barbecuing your hot dogs and sandwiches, I was on the ground level getting the details.
That's fair. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
That's why they are paying me the big Yes. Pro Wrestling Ontario, the amazing Canadian brawl. Okay? I have a little bit of a review. Okay? Because I went there, I got the backstage scoops. All right? I got the insides analyses.
You were full reporter mode.
That's right. I went in there with the express intention of doing a massive expose. Exposing all the secrets and the tips and the trades of the business. What I wanted to do was get all of the results before they even happened. To see all of the wrestling sequences and see just how fake everything is.
Well, tell the people what you saw back there.
Instead, I had myself a wonderful time. Mainly what it's about is energy drinks and cigars pre-show. Everybody's sucking down them Cubans, and everybody's having a shot of Monster. That's what it's all about. But yeah, the review itself, the amazing Canadian brawl. I can't even remember what day it was. All right, I think it was July the 31st.
Oh, I have no idea.
No. Yeah. But either way, it was a great show. It was cool to be in the backstage because I did get to go back there. I got to meet all the wrestlers, prior to things. I didn't get a chance to interview them because my old team partner wasn't there. All right. So next time we're gonna have to deal with that correspondence. But
full review next time with interviews.
With interviews, yes. But I got to see some great people. I got to see Alessandro Del Bruno being an absolute living legend, as always. Yes, I even got to see a guy named Shane Saber. I don't know if you know him, but I got to ride with him like 2 or 3 different years ago. It was way back when. So it was really nice to see him because I haven't seen him for a long time, and he is a tremendous wrestler. And it was on display here in this television program. Well, I mean YouTube program. Disgraceland was in full display, as was the Empire. The trios. The scumbag Yates. You remember the guy that went face first into a table?
Yeah.
That's scumbag Yates.
That's his name.
Yes, and that gentleman is now part of my brother's team in Disgraceland. So there you go.
That's nice.
New developments.
So who's in the Disgraceland faction?
My bro, Mr. John Greed. We have Scumbag Yates and a guy named Sonny Z, as far as I can tell. And Sonny Z, he looks like incredible. He looks like what's like Tanahashi. He looks like him. Amazing set of hair on that gentleman. Fantastic business. So they were having something called the Iron Cup Tournament. Okay, a series of wrestling matches throughout the night. I will say the structure of this show was chef's kiss. It was much better than the one that we attended the first time. It was nice. It was like 5 matches, Iron Cup Tournament exclusive. Last 3 matches, championship matches. Perfect. Ran like a breeze. 2 hours and you were out of there. At home for supper.
And all this is going to be available on YouTube, on the Pro Wrestling Ontario's YouTube channel.
Exactly. And you can get it every Thursday. The first episode of it is actually up right now as we speak, in which the Disgraceland and Empire battle for the championship gold, in which I can tell you that the Empire did in fact win that matchup. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Along with other things, we had Corey Stone. You remember the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
And
of course I do.
And Holden Albright with the wolf mask. They went to a good match. It was like 6 minutes. Solid wrestling action. I can't tell you who won that. You're gonna have to go and look for that yourself.
You're front row.
I don't want to give away the results.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
Go and watch it if you're interested. But we had a bunch of different things. We had Evan Greenaway, and Clay Wilson, who you didn't see the last time, but he's a Montreal Canadian.
Okay.
All right. And the spirits of the amazing French Canadians. You would have loved him. Mike Forte and Tyler Hill, which had one hell of a matchup. I actually was sitting next to Mike Forte's dad and his grandmother. And his grandmother was the most into it I've ever seen.
Is it that same lady from the last show that we went to?
It might have been.
That started arguing with Del Bruno?
It might have been.
She's hardcore, man.
PD Skills, which is, basically a Kevin Owens tribute. But quite fantastic in the ring. And Mark Shaw. I don't want to get his name wrong. Saber, as aforementioned, with Dan Paisano, and I believe the Saber had the match of the night. That was for me. Then we had our intermission, Empire and Disgraceland. There you go. Rip Impact defending the internet title against Devin Parkside. There you go. And in the main event, it was Del Bruno defending that open weight title, as every good champion should, against Aiden Prince, who is of Impact Wrestling fame right now. So there you go. So quite a stacked show.
That sounds like a excellent fucking show.
Lots of fun. Del Bruno proves why he's the main event. Prince is very good, so you should check out Impact Wrestling for that, gentlemen. Tyler Hill in Rip Impact was on the course to be to really be standout stars, in my opinion. So they're going to be pretty good. That John Greed guy. Meh. Overall, it was a good show, and I will definitely be going to the next one. A solid 3.5 out of 5.
Like it. Love it.
Recommend it, my friend.
Beautiful. Standout star?
Standout star of the show. Got to give it to my man Saber.
Match of the night?
Match of the night will also go to Shane Saber and Paisano.
Okay.
Yeah. Followed closely by the main event of Del Bruno and Aiden Prince. They got 20 solid minutes in the main event, 25 solid minutes. Great stuff all the way through.
Awesome.
Lovely. So go and check it out on YouTube, Pro Wrestling Ontario. And that was the amazing Canadian Brawl every Thursday. But until then, I think we have done more than enough in the present day of the world. So what we need to do is, as always, get in that DeLorean.
Yeah, get in the DeLorean.
Get in that fucking DeLorean. Hit the date of 1996 in December and get on to Starrcade 1996. Starrcade 1996, Just John in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee, baby.
Yep, the Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Yes, it has come to this, the so-called match of the century. Icon versus icon. Yeah, Hollywood Hogan, Roddy Piper, the match of the century, John. Like, can we just talk about that for a moment? The match of the century, 100 years. What? 100 years of wrestling. This is the one that they are claiming is the match to talk about.
100 years, baby.
100 years. 1896.
Listen, from
Wow.
Buddy Rogers ain't got shit on this.
Oh my God. Like, I want to talk about some bold claims. Like, this is the boldest of bold claims.
WWE did the whole greatest match of all time. So, you know,
the greatest
wrestlers
match ever.
are used to exaggerating a little bit.
My God. Wow. On the backs of Hollywood Hogan and Roddy Piper comes Starrcade 1996, December 29th, 1996, and we are all about the numbers. It is the attendance, 9,030 people. You would expect more for the biggest show of the
Because when you told, I didn't know that. Again, this is a guy that doesn't really follow WCW that much. I didn't know Starrcade was their WrestleMania.
It was the big time.
So now that I'm seeing this number, I'm kind of confused as to what the fuck.
Yeah.
Because
9,030 in attendance. Like, that is not much.
Yeah.
Not much at all. But, I mean, they were a rowdy crowd. They were a hot crowd.
The crowd was amazing the whole night through.
The buy rate that I have, 240,000 pay-per-view buys, which estimates to a 0.93 rating. This is massively up from the previous year. I would like for you, John, to have an estimate. Just give me a number that you think 1995's Starrcade would have gotten in comparison to this one.
This one was what, 9.3?
This is a 0.93, but 240,000 pay-per-view buys. So you can give me thousands if you want.
Oh,
or you can give me the number.
130,000?
130,000 buys is what you said. You know, you are way off the mark. 95,000 pay-per-view buys did 1995 get. the lowest, like one of the lowest figures for Starrcade. It is the lowest of that year in general, and the lowest of the past 2 years combined.
And in just 1 year, they made that much of a turnaround.
Exactly.
God
so,
damn.
1995, a horrible year for pro wrestling. The live gate, $113,040, and this is not your typical warm, fuzzy wrestling show. So let's get right into it. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about the cruiserweight title.
Let's go.
Oh, how hyped were you coming into this show? Because you were watching all of the nitros leading up to this. Do you have any bullet points for me before we get into our cruiserweight title match?
No, just basically what's been going on in between World War III and Starrcade. It's basically, you got one episode where Eric Bischoff is kind of explaining how he joined the NWO, and he basically tells all the staff that they got 30 days to change their contracts from WCW contracts to NWO contracts. Then you have people, kind of picking sides.
Yeah, you'll either be with us or against us.
Yeah, you have Sting doing the Sting thing where everyone's like, what the fuck? Who is he?
We'll get into that because we have a promo package later in regards to the Sting.
I watched like 5 episodes. I still don't know what the fuck he's doing. We had the Roddy Piper calling out Hogan, Hogan calling out Piper. Not too much, a couple, pretty good matches in between. But yeah, like it's been a decent build up, but I've definitely it's definitely not gonna lie, it's definitely got me hyped for the Hogan Piper match. Just because all the build up to it, like everything we've been watching, all these promos, like the Piper promo from Nitro, even the Hogan promo where he calls out Piper, but Piper isn't even in the building. Fantastic stuff that you should just go watch just to get a laugh. Because they're great fucking promos. Eric Bischoff in one of I think it's the episode before this one,
go home one,
where he dresses up as Piper and starts begging Hogan not to beat him up. So there was some really good gems in between these two pay-per-views.
Yeah, they are firing on all cylinders heading into Starrcade 1996. So the cruiserweight title match is going to kick us off. Of course, we have Dusty Rhodes, Tony Schiavone, Bubba the Brain on the desk, joined as always by Mike Tenay for our cruiserweight correspondence. Yes,
he's the only one that knows what the fuck's going on.
And it is really exposed in this show just how much Mike Tenay knows and how much the rest of them don't.
There's one point in the, I think it's the Yushin Thunder Liger, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into that. But
oh my god,
I don't know how Mike Tenay fucking deals with them.
I can't imagine how frustrating it is to be the play-by-play guy and have nobody beside you knowing what the hell they're doing, including Tony Schiavone, which seems a shame.
Because you have Mike Tenay who's just trying to kind of call the moves and make sure everyone gets what everything means. Then you have Dusty just laughing him off like he's like some fucking nerd or something. And then you have Dusty and Thing arguing all the fucking time. And Tony, it's a mess.
It is a mess.
It is a mess. 4 people on a commentary team should never happen. This is...
Oh my god. Okay, so Ultimo Dragon taking on Dean Malenko. This is to unify all 9 belts, by the way.
Yes.
Yes. Ultimo Dragon with a quick leg lock submission, but Dean gets to the ropes. Both men trading arm holds. Dragon with some stiff kicks, but Malenko with a solid side suplex. The Dragon escapes the head scissors and a snap suplex. USA chants ring out throughout the audience.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Get used to that.
Yeah, the Ultimo Dragon with a half crab transitioning into the STF. They actually criticize Tony because Tony says it was like a half crab, and Bobby is just like, "What do you mean like a half crab? It was a half crab. It could have been a half crab, 3/4 crab, half crab. Either way, it was crab." And then Dusty Rhodes is just like, "Yeah, if you're gonna call it a crab, it's gonna be a crab." And it's like, for fuck's sake, guys. The Dragon blocks a kick from the top rope and sends Dean to the outside. A slam on the floor by Ultimo Dragon, and then a suicide dive to follow that up. Dean Malenko gets out of a sleeper hold with a back suplex. A leg lock submission by Malenko now. A classic matchup here so far. Ultimo Dragon gets to the ropes, but Dean pulls him right back and locks in another leg lock submission again. Dean working the leg and drop kicks the leg as well. The crowd is firmly behind Dean Malenko, I will say.
Yeah.
A hell of a power slam brings the crowd to its feet by Dean Malenko. But then Dragon recovers with a spin kick, and a powerbomb follow-up gets a 2 count. A tombstone reversed into a tombstone by Dean Malenko. Another eruption by the fans. They're loving the big moves at this point. A 2 count. Cloverleaf attempt. The Ultimo Dragon gets to the ropes. A butterfly underhook power bomb. 2 count. Crossbody, both men to the outside. Spin kick keeps Dean out. And then the Dragon with the acai moonsault. Dusty Rhodes is like, "What did you call it?" He said the acai moonsault. He got to know what the acai moonsault. And Tenay is just like, "It's the man's name."
And then poor Tenay had to like go on a breakdown of what Ultimo Dragon means. Just so at the end of the thing, Dusty just not giving a fuck either way. But okay.
Back into the ring, Dean Malenko with the cloverleaf. Sonny Ono gets onto the apron with a distraction, just enough. Ultimo Dragon with a small package, but a kick out. Dean with a brain buster, absolutely beautiful. Trading places for a moment until the double underhook Dragon suplex. Dean Malenko gets put down. Dragon wins. This has been a perfect build to Ultimo Dragon winning the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah. And this was a fantastic match. 2 of the best Cruiserweights at the peak of their powers.
Yes.
Everything was smooth. Everything was hit. You know, it was violent, but it was perfectly executed.
Yeah. Not a spot out of place.
You had Ultimo Dragon trying to hit his big maneuvers, his top rope maneuvers. Dean Malenko working the legs, making sure that he can't hit those maneuvers. And Ultimo Dragon just being like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna German suplex you till I win," right? So it was a fantastic match, one that you could literally watch just by itself without having to watch the pay-per-view.
Seriously.
Great match. Also, after Mike Tenay explained the Ultimo Dragon's name and how it's actually Dragon because it's Mexican.
Yes,
I love how the last bit of the match, Dusty kept calling him Dragon.
He sounds like such a prick. Ultimo Dragon.
Listen, the first part of this match, he's calling him Dragon normally. Yeah. As soon as Mike Tenay explains it, the rest of the match is like, "Great move by Dragon." I'm like, I know Mike Tenay wants to just punch him.
Yeah.
But this was a great match. Now, you know, and I love the build up to it because the whole time they're like, yeah, he has 8 titles, but he doesn't have this one.
Yeah.
You know,
and this is
even
the biggest
though
one, the most prestigious.
Dean Malenko with his 1 title is going up against the Ultimate Dragon with the 8 titles.
Yeah.
Ultimate Dragon's still sort of the underdog because they've built up the fact that, hey, he doesn't have the belt that matters, which is which kind of made this such a fun match to watch, especially if you've never watched this match.
Yeah.
It's such a fun match to watch because it's really a 50-50.
It is.
Because you have the guy with the 8 belts.
Yeah.
But then
who has been a killer leading up to this point.
But you have the guy with the belt that matters, which is Dean Malenko. So it made for a great match.
Terrific opening. Match number 2. A women's title final. Excuse me?
Apparently there was a tournament.
When did this happen?
I watched every episode in between both pay-per-views. I did not see one women's match.
This was definitely happening on WCW Saturday night. Because where did this come from? What the hell?
They have Lee Marshall.
Yes, Lee Marshall.
Him and his beautiful voice are going to be... Because apparently... Him and Dusty
Rhodes
have been. They're supposed to be the experts on the women's match because they've been the commentary team for this tournament.
Yes, which is why it's been happening on Saturday night. I know that for a fact. My God. But be that as it may, it is Medusa taking on Akira fucking Hokuto.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Listen, I know that Medusa and Bull Nakano is like the women's match in the 1990s. Everybody talks about Bull Nakano, Medusa, Bull Nakano, yada, yada, yada. Akira Hokuto is fucking boss!
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know too much about Akira before this pay-per-view, and I haven't really much watched Medusa shit before this pay-per-view as well. And also, every pay-per-view that we've ever reviewed on the show has at least one awful women's match. So I thought this was going to be it. Yeah. I was very, very mistaken.
Oh, absolutely. Because Medusa is somebody that made her name in Japan before really cementing her name over in the WCW and the Lunger Blaze and the WWF. Akira Hokuto, however, is a fantastic fucking ladies wrestler, a trailblazer, and a dominant performer in all Japan, like women's pro wrestling.
No, this is not Alicia Fox Molina.
Oh, sweet Jesus. A Pro Wrestling Observer 2000 Hall of Famer. She's won multiple tag team titles, won tournaments in Japan in women's tag division, and an all-around fantastic performer, and one of the best and most unique looks.
That's what I was about to say. Her attire to come into this pay-per-view, that's how you get people talking and you make an entrance.
Yes,
because the second I saw that, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, let me sit back and watch this because there's no way.
Something.
That was some badass shit.
Yeah, man. She's an excellent women's wrestler to watch. If you are a fan of women's wrestling and even of women in Japan women's wrestling, take a look at this woman in particular. I can't say enough great things about Akira Hokuto. And in line with how awesome she is, she gets right on the attack with Medusa. Yeah. She takes her by the hair and whips the ever-loving bejesus out of Medusa 2 times, one side of the ring to the other. And she's screaming the entire time as she does. She's like,
oh my God.
Beautiful.
Oh, Jesus.
Beautiful stuff. But Medusa gets back in control. It's a fake out, an Irish whip, and pulls her hair down mid-whip. I've never seen that maneuver before. Excellent move by Medusa. Oh no, then trips up Medusa. And Medusa ends up recovering pretty nicely and does the Trish Stratus handstand with Akira Hokuto on the second rope there.
And if you notice when Ono does trip Medusa,
yes,
Akira's husband, I forgot the gentleman's name.
Sasaki.
There we go.
Yeah. See, I know Japanese.
He was kind of not feeling Ono's tactics.
Not a happy camper about it. No. Yeah. Akira Hokuto can win this on her own goddamn merits. Thank you very much. So the handstand sends Akira off the top rope, but Akira gets back on and gets a sharpshooter in and transitions that into the STF. Yeah. Come on now.
But then in the STF, for some reason, she starts biting
Medusa's foot. And Dusty says she's a teething on the foot. She's a teething on the foot of Medusa.
I hate Dusty.
So Medusa
Jesus
slides
Christ.
out of a pin and a sling blade type takedown by Medusa. Akira back on top, lots of choking, Northern Light suplex to keep control. Sloppy float over DDT by Medusa. Sadly, but a German suplex by Akira Hokuto. Tornado DDT from the second rope by Medusa, great recovery. And then a powerbomb gets a 2 count. Another powerbomb, but Medusa loses grip. A German suplex, but a 2 for Medusa. A superplex by Akira Hokuto ends in a 2 count. A drop kick from the second rope sends Akira to the outside. Sonny Ono then gets into the ring with Medusa distracted, hits her with the flag. Then Akira Hokuto with a missile drop kick from the top rope lands a brainbuster straight after. Akira Hokuto is your first ever women's champion of WCW.
Fucking, again, every match we've seen, every women's match we've seen so far that we've reviewed has been terrible.
Abysmal.
But this was fantastic.
A breath of fresh air.
Even with
gem.
Even with the interference.
Yeah.
This was still a fucking amazing match.
Indeed. I don't know how much more women's wrestling we have, but
I bet not a lot.
I know. But I'm hoping, I'm being optimistic because I can't remember every single aspect of this time period that we're going through. I'm optimistic that we will get to see a bit more of women's title presence. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, because this was, again, a hidden gem.
Yes.
Hidden fucking gem.
By all accounts. Backstage, WWE.com. Diamond Dallas Page is talking.
Yeah.
Did I say WWE.com? I meant WCWWrestling.com.
Wait, didn't you say?
I don't know.
Okay.
But if I didn't, I'm saying it now. It is WCW.
Again,
Wrestling.com.
DDP is answering your questions.
Yeah.
You send them on the interweb and
all 8,000 permitted of you before the website crashes.
So make sure, whatever you want to ask DDP.
Yeah. This is the time to do it. I can only imagine what that must have been like.
I wish. I wish we can get an insight on
just
that.
Pretending that you're talking to wrestlers.
Oh my God.
Because you're absolutely not talking to wrestlers. You're absolutely not.
No one's responding to 8,000 people.
No.
At the exact same time.
He's not there. No one's there. They're not typing on anything.
It's probably like one of those like those Facebook had it one time where you would like message shit and they'll like be like the automatic response like, hey, how are you?
Yeah. That's bullshit. Here's it in real time. Fuck off. But then we head backstage even further to a Mean Gene interview with Roddy Piper. It is a wild promo from the Rowdy Scott that we are, rightfully so, going to play here.
USA, it seems like we get together traditionally at this time of the year, one reason or another, but tonight, I guess much more important. Since you arrived at Halloween Havoc, you have made your intentions perfectly clear. You're standing on your own ground, not for World Championship Wrestling, but for Roddy Piper, and Hogan has really done it this time. He has stirred up a hornet's nest.
I gotta tell you, Music City, USA, I sing like a bird, like a vulture. And people telling me, oh, you're gonna kick Hogan's butt, it's gonna be no problem. Are you kidding? He's 6'7", 270 pounds. I'm a midget. Sky Lolo, me, right there, baby. This with Hogan, gonna be a walk in the park. Jurassic Park, honey. Have you seen this guy? Have you seen what he's thinking? I have. I don't listen to him. I just look at him. I watch that big dumb mug. He's perfectly suntanned. I watched him come in the limousine, the long Volkswagen, and here he comes, and here it is, the match of the icons. Not wound up yet, but I'm getting there. There's plenty, folks, of icons. Thing that's been kind of POing me is like, we are the only icons ever in the whole history of the sport of professional wrestling. There's a man out there that about from 77 to the rest of the time was in Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. There's the guy Strangler Lewis. Couple of folks heard of him. Guy George Gorgeous George. Couple of folks heard of him. And then there's this big mountain Hogan. You know, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be something. I said, I want to be something. Give me an instrument. They gave me the bagpipes and a dress. I'm the one that can call a dress. You know why? Because I'm tough enough to. I went with that. What am I going to do? A piano? Hard to carry in a parade, brother. Hard to carry. My whole life has been hard. 6 kids I've had to feed. My whole life has been hard. I left home when I was 13. You think I'm going to give up? Not a chance. Of course, it's the season. Tidings. That was tidings in reverse. And they say it's better to give than receive. No! This will not be a problem. You see, if you take Hogan's ego, did I say Hogan's? Hogan's ego, what's your name? Roseanne Barr's bra cup, put it on his head, it's a yarmulke. See you later.
Wait a minute, Roddy, don't go away. I've got to ask you this in closing. What about the hip? Let's get you back to the ring.
A wild promo by the Rowdy One, indeed. Stop yawning. Get your head in the game. Match number 3. Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yep.
Taking on Rey Mysterio Jr. What a fucking hell of an opening. 3 matches with the top tier.
Back to back.
With the top tier stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is what I absolutely adored about WCW in this time period. Their wonderful merger and agreement with New Japan Pro Wrestling, because Ultimo Dragon is taking the cruiserweight title to from WCW. He's going to the Tokyo Dome for their big show, Wrestle Kingdom, I believe. We have the influx of New Japan talent that are coming over here, boosting their roster for the Starrcade main events. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
like this is nuts.
You know, and the good thing is that they're doing a couple at a time.
Yeah.
And not 30,000.
Yeah, it's not a whole show devoted to them. Although I will say, last year, Starrcade 1995, that's exactly what they did.
Really?
It was a New Japan versus WCW show. You now wonder why there was only 95,000 buys.
History just keeps repeating itself.
Yes, indeed. To start out, it is a handshake of respect.
Very respectful.
For the first time ever, these 2 men are meeting in the ring.
Oh, this was their first match?
First time ever, 1-on-1. Rey Mysterio versus Jushin Thunder Liger. So,
also, I'm so used to almost every WCW match starting off with the other guy jumping the other guy. That was like, holy shit.
Know,
they're
right?
shaking hands.
A collar and elbow tie-up? Excuse me?
What's going on?
God. Yeah, first time ever. So us colossal tusslers, we're getting to watch history in the making. We're reviewing history, John. The #1 wrestling podcast for history.
I like it.
Yeah. It is a bow and arrow stretch to kick us off. All right. Jushin Thunder Liger with a shoulder block and drop kick combo. Liger back from a brain tumor.
Yeah, I did not know anything about that until they mentioned it. That shows.
Got a brain tumor removed in August. He's already back wrestling in top form in December.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I know you gotta pay bills, but god damn.
God damn, man. Hard into the turnbuckle goes Jushin Thunder Liger. I expect to see Rey Mysterio get absolutely killed for about 10 to 15 minutes, as per usual. And as I say that, as I write it down, he is thrown up into the air and then driven down with a solid, stiff-ass powerbomb. But Rey Mysterio, oddly enough, gets a Hurricane Rana off the top, sending Liger to the outside. The 619 fake out thing, and the crowd is on their feet. Rey is superplexed to the outside, though. A powerbomb on the fucking floor with a horrific splat. Goes Rey Mysterio Jr. Liger pushed off the top rope, but Rey Mysterio misses the drop kick back inside. A tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Jushin Thunder Liger. We transition into the surfboard by Liger.
Yeah. Well, Liger's whole strategy in this match is I can't keep up with you, so I'm just gonna break you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad until you stop moving. Which I commend him for that. That's a great strategy, especially with a guy like Ray.
Well, what I was kind of interested about on commentary, Mike Tenay, of course, back in on commentary here. They were talking a lot about how Liger had gained about 60 pounds. So he was, they were talking about him being actually quite bigger than usual, and so. Using that idea of he's going to go a bit more with the power game, a bit more with the high-impact moves to Rey Mysterio's high-flying technique, it was actually really interesting. I didn't catch it until it was mentioned.
But I also did love how Dusty and Bobby were arguing, because I guess Bobby just didn't notice he was bigger. And he's like, I don't know. And Dusty's like, how do you not know? He's like 100 pounds bigger. And Bobby's like, all right, fine. I don't give a shit.
and then he's just like, yeah, he was bigger than he was a second ago. You happy now? Oh God. A DDT by Rey Mysterio, a German suplex by Rey as well, and then a standing moonsault that delivers a 2 count. A springboard dropkick by Rey, and now Rey Mysterio, oddly enough, putting in a camel clutch on Jushin Thunder Liger. Very cool. He tries to go for another springboard maneuver, but gets drop kicked out the fucking air.
Yep.
A huge German suplex, only a 2 count. A single leg crab. Nobody argues this time.
But they do start arguing about the Irish whip?
The dragon screw leg whip.
Yeah.
The dragon screw leg whip. And Dusty absolutely loves this idea. Oh my God. Dusty's like, what did you just call it? And Mike today is like, that is called the dragon screw leg whip, followed up by the Acai moonsault. And then Dusty was, that's the leg whip, the dragon screw, the leg whip. By God, I'm going to have to remember that one for later. And then Bobby the Brain Heenan, he's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go to the bar and maybe I'll get you inside a leg whip.
And then for like a good minute, there's wrestling happening.
Yeah.
But there's no commentary team because they are cracking up.
Like, they have been cracked up. Like, Mike Tenay has been broken. Tony doesn't even answer anything.
I'd say for a good minute, there's wrestling with no commentary.
No.
Because they just can't hold it in.
Yeah, because there's a monkey flip by Rey Mysterio. There's a moonsault to the outside from the top rope. None of this is being called until the springboard leg drop by Rey Mysterio to Liger back in. But Liger gets the foot on the rope. A springboard senton by Rey Mysterio misses. A diving headbutt by Jushin Thunder Liger, and it's a kick out. Tries for a top rope Hurricane Rana, not to be availed. It is a sit-out Liger bomb and a win. Rey Mysterio kicks out at 3.1 just to look a little bit strong.
Yeah. I thought it was a botch, but once they called it, I was like, okay.
Liger picking up the victory in a 3 out of 3 solid matches.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get much better.
That's how you start a show.
Jesus Christ.
That's how you start a show.
The first 45 minutes of solid cruiserweight women's wrestling, Joshi style.
Yep.
Fantastic. You can't ask for better than this.
And, and to end it off with Ray and Yushin, perfect match.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, this might be the best 3 opening matches of any pay-per-view I've seen in a while.
I think you'd be very hard-pressed to find another set in a pay-per-view that goes that well, where everybody is kind of just like balls to the wall. They get 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And they are just told, go.
And this crowd
loved it.
Amazing. This crowd was crazy. But enough of that flippy shit.
Yes. It is time to bring it back down.
It's time for the heavyweights.
Yeah, it is time for Memphis
babies.
Memphis Southern Wrestling.
Yes, sir. And who better to start that off
than the man in
Double J.
Ric Flair's retirement match. We forgot to talk.
Yeah,
about
can we do a little 2-minute side note? Let's do a 2-minute. Have you watched that?
No, why would I
Okay.
watch it?
Because I watched it.
Oh my god.
Ric Flair comes out in a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He has trouble getting off his robe, and he ends up tripping on his robe quite a few times getting down to the ring. The big gold belt he decided to unveil, and it's supposed to be this big moment, but the belt decides to start falling off. So he calls forth a cameraman in order to take the big gold belt.
What the fuck?
He trips on his way into the ring, then begins to have probably one of the slowest matches in the history of the world.
Who did he started off with?
He started
Lethal
off
or
with Jay
Jarrett?
Lethal.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jeff Jarrett was doing all the shtick
Okay.
and powdering out and being a heel and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so he ends up having a very slow match the whole time. He looks like he's in fucking shambles.
Well, there was reports saying that he passed out twice.
Yeah, he apparently passed out twice. They were going to go for a superplex off the top rope at one point, and Jay Lethal gets up and tags himself in and pulls Flair down from the top.
Thank God.
He's like, absolutely fucking not.
I love that Jay Lethal's the responsible
Yeah.
one in this whole.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one of the funniest images that I think I'll ever see in my entire life is seeing Ric Flair completely out of it, putting on the figure 4. And as he puts on the figure 4, he just lays back.
Oh no.
He just lays back and passes out.
Oh my god. Yeah, as soon as I was gonna watch it, but then I saw people uploading pictures on Twitter, and it was him with a shirt on, and I'm like, okay, I already know what type of time that
He
is.
fakes a heart attack.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't think he should fake a heart, not at his age.
He's got a pacemaker.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then I saw the clip of him walking around the stage, and like he's going up to Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Taker's whispering something to his ear, and you could just see Ric Flair's just trying to hold on. I think he's mostly he's just trying to not fall over, and he's just like gone, like okay.
Well, there's
All
one
right.
point where Jeff Jarrett hits Ric Flair in the top of the head with his shoe on the outside, with Karen Jarrett's shoe. And you can see Undertaker in the background. And he's got the meanest look on his face. Like, you should all be fucking ashamed of yourself.
And this is the guy that did the Saudi show, so you know it's bad.
Yeah. This was Ric Flair's last match. Instead of WrestleMania 24... Instead of, I don't know, like even if it was Ric Flair and Jay Lethal, even if he stopped there, but no, he had the little house show things with Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his last match, a tag match in Nashville.
No, because he announced that he's going to Puerto Rico with Andrade.
Oh, God.
Okay. Now, apparently, he's just going to be the manager. But knowing Flair, I know he's going to talk them into probably letting him have one more go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is not over, buddy. And everyone on Twitter said if we support this, he's not going to stop.
No, he's going to do it again.
And like a week later, he announced that he's going to Puerto Rico. Yep.
Oh,
so yeah, this is not over, bud. It's still a long way.
More as it happens. He's going to die in the ring.
He is.
He's going to die in the ring.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Match number 4, Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett is just the fucking worst at this time. He really is. He really is.
He's not that bad.
He really, like, he's great in the ring. Don't get me wrong. The bell rings. He's one of the best.
Okay,
he's
you
one
just
of the
mean
best.
his whole Ric Flair thing.
His whole shtick.
Okay.
The outfit, the headpiece, the strut, the talking, everything. Everything except the ring quality is the worst.
And there's at the beginning of this match, there's a really, really cool moment. I haven't really seen this before, but I really liked it because Jeff Jarrett's opponent, like after they do some chain wrestling, and you know they do
say his name.
Yeah, for sure.
You can say his name.
After they do some chain wrestling and you know headlocks and then whatever, Jeff Jarrett's opponent starts slapping the back of Jeff Jarrett's head as he's on the floor and starts stepping on him.
Yes.
Right? Which makes Jeff Jarrett like lose it.
It does.
He goes on a little like
fist of fire.
You know, fists are flying.
Yeah.
He then knocks his opponent down and then he steps over him.
Yeah.
And then he does the strut, and I was like, "This is great."
Okay.
I don't know how you can see that and not love the strut.
In the ring, he's great. The character is shit. He's supposed to be a babyface. He's supposed to be endorsed by Ric Flair. We are supposed to be booing Chris Benoit. Not one person in this match boos Chris Benoit. Not one.
Listen, Jeff's amazing. Don't hate on Jeff.
Woman distracts Jeff Jarrett. Chris Benoit takes advantage. Cheers. Dusty Rhodes says you should never stop when a lady on the corner grabs your arm. You should never stop at a corner. You should always keep on moving. You should never move when a lady of the night grabs your arm. Dusty
we have
with
like
the wisdom man.
9 more Dusty Wisdom moments coming up.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
A catapult by Chris Benoit into the turnbuckles. Bobby the Brain Heenan says Nashville is Hicksville.
What?
That's what he says.
Oh my god!
Casually throws that in there. Benoit puts Jarrett up on the top rope, goes for the superplex, but is pushed off. Woman moves Benoit out of the way, causing Jeff Jarrett to collide with the
one
ropes.
of the most aggressive ways to move someone out of the way, too.
Yeah.
Like, she just grabs his head and just fucking yanks it.
Well, you know, they're very violent together, you know? Like, they're you know? I'm assuming they're very aggressive in the bedroom.
God.
Yeah. They like it rough, is all I'm saying.
Anyway, so Jeff, what did Jeff do after that?
Outside, Jeff gets thrown into the railing. Benoit gets his neck off the rail after that. Back suplex by Benoit once both men are back into the ring. It results in a 2 count. Locked in a sleeper by Benoit a long time in this sleeper hold. The crowd is getting desperately quiet. A back suplex by Jeff Jarrett. A small package by Jeff Jarrett leads to a 2 count. Jeff Jarrett tries for a flying nothing, and Chris Benoit gets the boot up, ends in a 2 count. Like I said here, crowd is a little quiet at this point. Jeff Jarrett hangs Benoit on the top rope off a suplex. Woman helps Benoit out of the figure 4 as Arn Anderson makes his way to ringside and walks right by Chris Benoit.
And this is where it gets sort of confusing. Well, it's sort of confusing because
it's just because a lot of shit happens.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens in this small period of time, and the cameraman doesn't do a great job of capturing everything.
He was so close.
Because Dungeon of Doom comes out.
Yes, they try to kidnap woman.
Yeah, they try to kidnap her. She kicks one of them in the balls. But then the camera looks away.
You know what? Rightfully so. Woman kicks Hugh Morris, Bildemont, right in the penis.
That's fair. But they try to kidnap her. Camera turns away because at the same time, Kevin Sullivan is going into the ring.
Yes, with a wooden chair.
With a chair.
Yes.
Well, did you say a wooden chair?
It was a wooden chair.
Where the fuck do you get a wooden chair?
I don't know. He got a wooden chair from somewhere. It was in there.
Okay, so I guess he attacks
Benoit.
Benoit.
Yes. There you go. Look at you.
But then at the same time, Arn Anderson hits Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, with a beautiful DDT on the floor.
Everything Arn Anderson does is beautiful.
It really is.
Like I've never
It
seen
is
him
as
botch
crisp
anything.
as crisp could possibly be.
Like it's everything he does is perfect. But
You're
anyways,
absolutely right.
he hits the DDT on Jeff Jarrett.
Mhm.
He throws Jeff Jarrett into the ring,
Yes.
and Jeff Jarrett somehow
Yeah.
manages to land on top of his opponent.
Yeah.
And he wins by pinfall.
Yes.
And Arn Anderson comes in and he's like, "What the fuck?" And the ref's like, "I don't know. You were the one that threw him in here. I just counted." And then woman comes in and she's like, "What the fuck?" And Arn, I don't know.
And it's like, you dropped the ball somehow. Somehow this is on you.
So that was weird, but I enjoyed the match.
I thought
really enjoyed the match.
it was a clever finish
Mm-hmm.
if the camera could have gotten it all.
Yeah, because you hear Kevin Sullivan hit
Yes.
Chris,
Yeah.
but you didn't
see it.
Yeah.
So when Jeff is rolled back in, Benoit is just down.
And then you
And
don't
it's like,
see the fact
what?
that woman isn't actually kidnapped.
Yeah.
So she still manages to come in. Because when she came in at the end, I was like, didn't they take you to the back or
Yeah.
some shit? Apparently
she
they
fought
didn't.
him off.
Yeah.
She fought him off.
So it was a weird thing just because so much stuff happened at the
Yeah.
same time that the
And
cameraman just
The
couldn't.
camera just
get
needed to be like on a zoom out. It
Yeah.
just needed to be the
Yeah.
hard cam. Just
And
look
they
at
would have
everything.
got everything. Because they weren't even that far away from
No,
each other.
No, everything was happening.
Yeah.
And it all flowed. Like every point hit.
Yeah.
It's just the camera didn't catch
Just-
it.
Like he was literally like a split second too late for everything that happened. Like he misses the woman thing by
Such
like
a
a
shame.
little bit, misses the Kevin Sullivan thing by just a
Mhm.
tiny bit.
Just
Like
that
it's the worst.
Yeah. Such a shame. Such a shame. So the horsemen go running off each individually. They all make their exit. Mean Gene is on the ramp. He's trying to get an interview with any of them, but most of them are just leaving.
And his mic is fucked up
And
the
his
whole
mic is
time.
fucked up the
And he,
entire
you know,
course of this interview.
He's like, "Jeff, do you have anything to say?" He just walks by.
No.
You know, woman, nope. They walk by,
No.
and then
Then Mongo. It is Steve Mongo McMichael and Deborah.
Yeah.
That come out for no goddamn reason at all.
well, he wanted to interview a horseman.
Where is Ric Flair? Where is the Nature Boy? When you need him.
Listen, he comes out and he tells Gene, "You wanted to speak to a horseman."
Yeah. Here you go.
yeah,
Speak to a horseman. And then he talks about how Chris Benoit can't get it done. And in the football, if you didn't get it, you got a ham sandwich and a bus ticket out of here. Right?
And we're not joking. That's what he said.
That's
These
what
are
he
not
said.
jokes.
Then Deborah
Mhm.
gets the mic and she can't get a word out without getting booed the fuck out of. Like she got massive heat.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether or not this was the good heat or the bad heat. Was this the go away heat?
This was go away.
It was,
This was
right?
go away.
Because my God, it was nuclear. The mic is barely working as she's talking about how
Yeah.
she's the queen of WCW. She's the woman of the horseman, and talking about how woman has been wet and laid up or whatever the hell she said. It's a nonsensical promo, means nothing. And then she's just like, "Happy New Year."
Oh yeah, she did say something about like, "I know you guys.
Yeah, you want to be with me.
were
You wanted me under
expecting
your
me."
tree,
Yeah.
but you can't have me. Oh, excuse me, but your tree.
This was fucking terrible.
An abysmal promo.
This was, and it sucks because this pay-per-view was going gangbusters till this point.
Yeah.
This was the first time in the whole pay-per-view I'm like, I'm gonna turn this off. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to see this right now.
Yeah,
Like that
Horrific.
was so bad.
horrific stuff. And then we have the Sting promo
Yeah.
about where does Sting lie?
Yeah.
Is he WCW or is he NWO? He's going around, he's beating up NWO, he's going around, he's beating up WCW, he's
Mhm.
dropping Jeff Jarrett, he's dropping Rick Steiner, he gave Lex Luger a bet, he's been killing off the NWO Sting. He's been denied. He's already wearing the NWO colors. Denied. And the end of the promo, Bobby the Brain Heenan says, "Is he NWO or what?" That's it.
That's such a dumbass promo.
Such a horrible promo.
Especially, it's just so dumb.
And it just doesn't make any sense.
So fucking dumb.
He's not NWO.
But how do you know that?
How do you not?
He beat up Jeff Jarrett.
Who doesn't? Not even the Four Horsemen want Jeff Jarrett.
This is the only thing that makes this terrible is because we know what the end is, but we just have to sit through so much bullshit to get there.
But even the pieces don't make sense.
My God.
Even the week-to-week pieces don't make sense at all. I'm over it. I am absolutely over it. Match number 5. The WCW Tag Team titles are on the line as the Outsiders take on the Faces of Fear, accompanied by Jimmy Hart.
This was a clusterfuck.
You think so?
Things.
You think so?
Yes.
Nick Patrick is the referee for this match,
Yep.
of course. I thought this was better than their World War III Triangle match.
I hated this.
You hated this match?
I hate it. Just because the second half of this match is like just so fucking stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am interested to hear your thoughts.
Mhm.
It is the Ming and Scott Hall to stop.
Yeah.
The Ming. We'll go with it. The Ming with the power and the clothesline. That's the first clothesline of this match.
Okay.
I am keeping a tally. A hard knife-edge chop to Scott Hall. Hall gets the boot up and a bulldog from the second rope to Ming. It results in a 2 count. A boot to the guts of Scott Hall. Hall tags out to Kevin Nash and the Barbarian gets in. Nash with the quick knee and back into the corner. He drives the knees, the elbows, the standard Kevin Nash affair. But gets a back elbow off the Irish whip. Barbarian in control with the chokes and the chops. Nash with a blow to the back off of Nick Patrick's distraction. All 4 men are in, and the Faces of Fear are doing a clubbering, according to Dusty Rhodes. They are clubbering him. They're going to a clubberossin' and a filibustering. A double headbutt by Kevin Nash. It backfires. Ming and the Barbarian hulking up and then delivering a double headbutt to Kevin Nash.
Because we all know foreign people have strong ass heads.
Yes, especially them Samoans.
Yeah.
Especially them men from the Isle of Fiji. You know what I'm talking
Big,
about?
hard coconuts up there.
And no brains, as we know. They're Neanderthals, basically. All right, those stupid
Oh my
fucking.
We love all you, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Who has Canadian descent? Did you know this?
Rock?
Yeah,
On what side?
Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson was born in Nova Scotia.
Oh, you motherfuckers tried to take the Rock from us?
To be fair,
No. The Rock is Canadian, and you guys tried to steal him from us? How dare
The Rock
you?
was born in Florida.
Canada.
No, The Rock was
Toronto,
born in Florida.
Ontario.
That's not even the same place.
Look at our Canadian hero. I did
Oh,
not know
God.
that.
All right.
Oh, the Ananoe family from
Yeah.
right here
Oh, God.
in the north. I love it. I love it.
Basically, the Jane and Finch area, if we're being honest. You know, Nova Scotia, Jane and Finch, same thing.
I love it.
A sidewalk slam to Kevin Nash. Goes to the second rope for an elbow, does Barb, but Nash moves. Snake eyes to the Barbarian. And then Scott Hall delivers a knockdown. A clothesline by Scott Hall. 2. And then gets tagged in. Hall in the corner, fighting off the world with the faces of fear as he gets another clubber and tries to go for a clothesline, but gets a boot by the Barbarian instead. Ming now in a Powell driver. Boom! Down goes Scott Hall. It is a long old 2 count. Nick Patrick is barely getting there in time. The Barbarian comes in and a power bomb. Good God. Scott Hall is down. But Nash breaks up the pin.
And here is where this match completely loses me.
You tell me about it. You take the reins, big man.
The Faces of Fear, they come in, both of them enter the ring. They do a double team move.
That's right, the atomic drop boot.
Yep. And then the Barbarian goes for the pin.
Yes.
But they don't count it because the Barbarian isn't the legal man.
That is correct.
That's fair.
Yes.
But then the Barbarian just stays in the fucking match.
He just doesn't leave.
And then they continue on with the match as if he was the legal man.
Yeah.
And Six and Jimmy Hart, they start arguing on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Six chases Jimmy Hart to the back for reasons.
No, you gotta get Jimmy out of there.
The Barbarian has Hall in a submission hold.
For a long time.
And Hall is fading, but Nick is pretending he doesn't see shit.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't matter because the Barbarian isn't even the fucking legal man.
He's not legal. This is right.
Hall finally gets up, hits a backdrop, breaks the hold.
Mm-hmm.
Hall then manages to tag Nash, and then Nash then starts beating up the Barbarian. Goes for the pin, even though the Barbarian is not the legal man.
Yeah. And the legal man Ming comes in and delivers one of the stiffest elbow drops I've ever seen. Like, oh my God.
And when he does that, everyone kind of comes in, you know, they're fighting each other and all that shit. And on commentary, I think it was Bobby Heenan that was like, who's legal? Who's the legal man? And I'm like, does it fucking matter at this point?
Not anymore.
Haku and Hall brawl on the outside, which gives Nash enough time to Ming. The Ming. And Hall, they brawl on the outside, which gives Nash enough time to hit the power bomb on the illegal man for the win. He pins the illegal man for the win because nothing makes sense anymore. Okay. Just nothing matters.
I tolerated this match much more than I did the triangle match last month. Mm-hmm. The triangle match was, to me, even worse than this match. This match was at least more competent. It didn't have those jackasses, Knobs and Sags involved. And Jimmy Hart wasn't even a part of the finish this time, so the megaphone was not inexplicably involved. But I will agree with you, Barbarian was not the legal man. Never was the legal man.
So fucking dumb.
But nevertheless, Hall and Nash with a decisive win.
Yeah, win.
At Starrcade.
Yeah.
There we go. Backstage with Hollywood. It's Hollywood Hogan
the trillionaire.
And the trillionaire Ted. Trillionaire Ted, Vincent in the background, Elizabeth presumably handcuffed and hogtied against her will.
Yeah.
She looks like she's had like 7 drinks shoved down her throat, maybe a cocaine injection. She looks out of it.
The entire pay-per-view, she's just kind of standing.
Yeah.
Very awkwardly, just there.
She looks like she's lost in the headlights.
She's like doing enough that you notice her, but also not enough that you pay that much. No. Like, it's a very weird.
Yeah.
She's very weird.
Very weird.
Very weird.
Yes, and we have the promo here. We're going to play it now because we did it for Piper. We need to do it for Hollywood.
Mike, get it! Well, you asked for it, brother. You come strolling back in here saying, hey, I'm as big an icon as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm as big a star as Hollywood Hogan. I want him all to myself in the middle of the ring. Well, Piper, you got what you want, but you're going to regret it. Tell him. Well, you know, Trillionaire Ted, I already called the Hacienda man. Venice Beach, California. The ticker tape parade is going down right now because they're on, that Pacific time. I told him I already won, man. I told him the victory was in the bag. I pinned him in the middle of the ring, and all 6 of his kids were crying in their cold Campbell soup. But, I begged and begged and begged when I came to Nashville. Tell me it ain't so. Tell me it's not really happening. Tell me that the man that wears the crinkled skirt didn't climb on the plane, didn't already fly back to Mother's disaster in the Portland Pacific area, and he's not running for his life. And up until just a moment ago, I thought I was going to have to go out into the ring with thousands of Hollywood Hogan fans wearing my shirt and tell them the real truth, that Roddy Piper ran for his life. I'm the only icon. The belt stays with the NWO, and he's scared to death. But I saw one of his snotty-nosed kids running around trying to bum a quarter to buy a Coke. And I know that Roddy Piper, no matter how much of a liar, no matter how much of a cheater, and no matter how much of a woman he really is underneath that skirt, it's the nature of the beast. You don't leave your kids behind. So all I gotta say, dudes, Hollywood style, we're going out to have fun, because I ain't heard nobody say that it's Roddy Piper today. Vince, have you heard anybody say that? How about it, Liz? I know you haven't. How about you, truly, Nerd Ted?
No, not a word.
It ain't Roddy Piper Day, so let me tell you something, sucker. Today is Hollywood Day. To prove a point, to put the final period on my legacy, to show everybody, the people, the producers, everybody in the wrestling business, that I made this business. I'll make it tomorrow, and if it wasn't for me, the wrestling business wouldn't be on the map. And I'm not acting with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or any of those chumps. We're doing it the Hollywood way. Piper, what you gonna do?
And we're back.
We did that.
A Hollywood Hogan promo for the ages.
Mm-hmm.
Did these two promos add even more hype to you heading into the main event?
I've been hyped this entire time. Like, I know they're both past their prime, but for some reason, this build-up is done it for me. Like, even like Piper's promo from earlier, that shit was...
It was nonsense, but it was good.
It was good. It was very fucking good. And Hollywood is just Hollywood. He's entertaining. So I'm super hyped for this match.
All right.
Super hyped.
Match number 6, the United States title, which is still lost in Neverland somewhere, apparently.
Yes, DDP and Eddie Guerrero are fighting for a title that they don't even fucking have.
No.
They haven't even seen because the Giant has it.
Yeah.
They are fighting. Oh my god! They competed in a tournament for a title they do not have or have seen. They're just fighting for bragging rights, I guess.
This is weird, isn't it?
And this also kind of completes sort of their trilogy of terrible matches that they've had together.
They have not had very good ones.
This one was good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be fair. This one was good, but the previous two were fucking terrible. Yeah. And they start off with some classic back and forth, some chops, some holds. Eddie hits DDP with a drop kick that sends DDP to the outside. DDP lands shots to Eddie while he's on the apron, but Eddie sends him to the outside. He then quickly brings him back in before landing like a springboard swanton. I'm not sure if that's what it was called back then.
The classic Eddie special.
Yeah. Eddie then lands a drop toe hold that he turns into an armbar. DDP tries to clothesline Eddie while he was talking to the ref, but Eddie gets out of the way and DDP ends up flying to the outside. Eddie then dives to the outside. DDP hits a power driver on Eddie. After a rest hold, DDP lands a suplex on Eddie. He goes for the pin, but Eddie kicks out. DDP then puts him in another rest hold.
You were saying how this match was good, huh?
No, I'm not doing it justice, but it's good, and it starts picking. Like the first half was not great, but it starts picking up after a while. Eddie gets a small package, but DDP kicks out. DDP goes for the DDP goes for another fucking wrestle. It's like the abdominal stretch.
Yes, yeah.
He goes. He
Does
tries,
he grab the rope?
He
by
does.
chance?
He does.
Yeah.
Try grabbing the rope.
Yeah.
And then they do that like 80s spot where
Man.
like the ref would go and he'll let go, and then the ref would ask the crowd like,
Did he
Did
do it?
he do it?
Did he
And
do it?
the crowd's like, no,
he couldn't have. He's a good guy. He's
And they-
somehow cool and cowardly at the same time.
And they do that for like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then on the 3rd time, the ref catches him, and DDP is like, "Hey, fuck you!" And then the ref starts yelling at DDP, and DDP starts hiding like a cowardly,
backing off. Yeah.
cowardly little dog
Yeah.
who's supposed to be our badass heel.
Yeah.
He's
He's making it work. He's making it work.
no, he's not. What the fuck? Then one of my favorite moments of the entire pay-per-view for me.
Okay.
Eddie lands an uppercut on DDP
Yes.
that makes Dusty lose his shit. He's like, "Oh my god, what an uppercut!" He sent that man flying. He then says after like 2 minutes after the uppercut, he's like, "Hey guys, I just got a news flash." He's like, if his boots wasn't tied, he'd be out of them. Like Dusty loved this uppercut for some fucking reason. For like a good minute, he would not stop talking about this uppercut, and he's like, "Listen, if his boots wasn't tied, he'd be out of them by now," which fucking just cracked me up.
Did he say he wobble leg him? Did he wobble leg him? And go for an uncle.
Eddie lands a backdrop, then goes for the frog splash, but DDP gets out of the way. But the frog splash still manages to clip DDP because he moved in the direction the frog splash was coming from.
Yes.
A whole fucking mess.
Of course.
DDP then tries for the top to go to the top rope, but Eddie moves the ropes, making DDP land balls first on the in the corner.
On the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
Yes.
Eddie tries going for a top rope move, but DDP throws him off. DDP then goes for a top rope move himself, but lands balls first into Eddie's knee.
Yeah, the atomic drop. Super atomic drop.
Listen, you just gotta put your knee out there, and he just magically lands on it.
That's right.
DDP, where are we? DDP hits a huge power bomb. He goes for the pin. Eddie kicks out. Then the NWO come out.
Yes.
And Haw hits DDP with a razor's edge. And
Outsider's edge.
Yep. And
Yep.
then Eddie hits a frog splash because he's on the outside. He doesn't know what's going on inside the ring.
Yeah.
So to him, DDP's just been out all this fucking time.
He's just having a nap. He's just having a lie down.
So he goes for a frog splash for the win. He
He's
wins.
the new US champion.
Wins the title, and apparently they made a title.
They made a brand new title.
They give it to Eddie. Eddie
Yeah.
turns around. He finally sees the NWO. He starts staring them down.
Here they
And
come.
then, they come down. And Eddie manages to fight them off for a little bit, but
Yes.
numbers game catches up to him.
Specifically 6.
Yep.
Getting in a good beatdown in particular.
And they beat him up and steal the title. So again,
Look at that.
so again, there's still no U.S. title.
No.
And NWO basically has 2 U.S. titles now.
One they're going to throw away somewhere.
Yeah.
They're going to chuck that one in the bin.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep hold of the new U.S. title.
Yeah.
There you go. So how did you felt good about that match?
I like again, my explaining is terrible, so I don't do it justice like you do. But this match was better than their previous 2 matches that were just goddamn awful. Like
I will
this,
give you that.
this starts off bad, but it starts picking up. The ending was all right with the outsiders coming in. I liked Eddie fighting them off.
Yeah.
And him getting the title stolen again. But again, this was not a terrible match.
Good.
This was not a terrible match.
I'm glad you feel that way.
So far, nothing but good matches except for that Outsiders match.
Right. Which was fine.
Fine.
Match number 7. The Giant taking on Lex Luger.
Or, as one of the signs in the crowd said, Sexy Lexi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is a hot piece of meat. You cannot deny. Flexi Lexi is a hot piece of meat. Fresh off the grill.
Listen.
Scrumptious. But Lex Luger gets a gigantic ovation, a huge pop. Big Luger chance to start. This is the hottest that the crowd has been objectively all night. Seeing Lex Luger, I would argue.
Yeah.
Biggest reactions for sure. And it is all about whether or not Lex can wreck him. Can he wreck the Giant?
Yeah.
Can he do it? A tie-up. The two men jockeying for position. They're doing the power game, The Giant just pushing Luger back into the ropes, back into the turnbuckle, and it looks like Luger is out of it, but he's just pushes him back, getting him to the middle of the ring, but the Giant just shrugs him right off.
He's like, fuck that.
That's right. He pushes him right off. Luger gets back into his face, gets fucking pushed again. He's like, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, so Luger goes into the corner, starts landing big-ass rights.
That's right.
One after another.
Mm-hmm.
Big Show would push him off.
Yep.
And he would come back, land a couple more rights. Big Show would push him off again.
Yep.
But nothing can stop Sexy Lexi because he comes right back and lands a couple more rights.
Does it about 16 times. Until finally, Giant pushes Luger back and then explodes out the corner with a running clothesline. Elbow drop to Luger. He kicks Luger right in the gut all the way to the outside of the ring. Yeah. Suplex back in by the Giant. Giant working him over the back and the ribs. He's pushing him off the ropes, delivering the arm right to the spine.
He grabs Luger and he tells him, you're going to feel pain like you've never felt pain. Menacing.
Very menacing. Hickory dickory duck. You're going to feel the fucking cock.
I hate this podcast.
Hard Irish whips. Not too much is happening, if we're completely honest.
No.
But it's effective. The Giant standing on Lex Luger. Luger chants. The crowd is still very much into it. Luger fights back, tries for a big body slam, but Luger's back gives out. The Giant tries for a big splash, but ends up missing. He lands on the top rope. He stays up on there. Luger delivering some shots, and the Giant gets down off the top rope. Missed opportunity for the rack. However, will he rack him?
Which was so weird because the commentary team was hyping this spot up.
Yeah.
They're like, he's gonna do it.
This is it. And he can rack him from here.
And then he just starts punching him, and I'm like, did they read this wrong? Was this supposed to happen?
No. But then the Giant with the big boot to keep control. The Giant goes for a drop kick, but ends up missing. Luger then with the clothesline, punches, a neck breaker, takes the Giant down. The crowd lights up. Kick out. And Pee Wee Anderson is flattened here. Then Nick Patrick is here. He's cowering behind the steel post.
Yeah.
He's cowering. He's just waiting for his moment as Luger begins to rack him. And he goes up for the first time. Can't get him up. He goes up for the second time. The Giant is up there. Nick Patrick comes in, kicks him right in the calf. Kicks Luger right in the calf. But here comes Sting. Through the crowd comes Sting. Luger managing to grab hold of Nick Patrick, throwing him down. But Six comes out, ends up kicking Luger in the face. But Sting gets in. Clears some house, drops the bat right in the middle of the ring, whispers sweet nothings into both men's ear.
Does, yeah.
And then leaves. Luger tries to get the bat, but the Giant steps on the big bat, says, nuh-uh, not in my house. not in my house. So Lex Luger says, not in your house? Kick to the dick. A big old low blow. Then Luger picks up the bat and nails him once, twice, 3 times the bat. And the loudest that the crowd has been all night. Lex Luger taking down the Giant into the cover. 1, 2, 3. Lex Luger up 1 against the NWO.
The first loss for the NWO.
The first loss.
You know, and listen, when the team isn't fully in sync, you know, Sting tried dropping the bat so Big Show can get it. Big Show didn't grab it.
No, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah, so
you know?
this is, yeah.
It just happens.
Sting. What do you suppose he was whispering in their ears?
He was probably like, hey, Lex, I just dropped the bat so the Giant can get it and beat you up with it. And then he went to the Giant and was like, hey, the bat's over there. You know, it's just miscommunicate. It happens with teams, you know, it happens.
So then why did Sting give Lex Luger a bat a couple Nitros ago?
No,
but only drop it in the middle here.
No, because it's symbolism. Before he was like, hey, this bat, the Giant's going to use to beat you up. But we couldn't get it because we have small brains.
At World War III.
Yeah. And then now it's come full circle. It's like, oh, now the Giant's going to use this bat.
So what you're saying to me is that Sting showed him this bat a month and 2 weeks before Starrcade when the match wasn't even booked yet. Wasn't even a concept yet.
But he knew his NWO brothers would be fighting Luger at the pay-per-view. So he's just like letting him know, like, hey, you mess with the NWO. Be your downfall? Yeah, he's like, you mess with the NWO, you mess with Stinger and his bat. Come on. NWO for life, baby.
For life. Oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Watching it from week to week is so bad.
You've watched all this, right?
Yes.
So there is a payoff to all this shit, right?
Yes.
Is it worth what we're putting up with?
No.
I really hope you were gonna say yes. Oh.
There are bits and pieces of brilliance, but week to week, this is awful. But how did you feel about the semi-main Lex Luger delivering the first loss to the NWO?
It was honestly a fun match.
It was fun.
Fun match. Yeah, nothing too technical, but
no, nothing technical at all.
Just 2 big boys, you know, slapping each other. It was a fun night.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about nothing technical, it is now time for our main event, the so-called match of the century. The match of the century. Hulk Hogan
100 years.
100 years in the making. Leading up to this. Yes, indeed. The match of the century.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Frank Gotch, Jack Briscoe, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Gorgeous George, George Hackenschmidt, Terry Funk, Dory Funk, Harley Race, Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage. Step aside. Because Hollywood Hogan and Roddy Piper is what has brought 9,030 people to the match of the century. John, we have made it to this incredible match.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was so far. Yeah. Great pay-per-view.
Yes.
I was hyped for this match.
I too was hyped for this match. Yeah. In jest, I talk about the match of the century because that is a ludicrous statement. Absolutely ludicrous statement. But the promos and everything leading up to it has been stellar. Everything has been really good. Piper Hogan back again to fight another round. It's been great.
Yeah.
Michael Buffer introing. Let's get ready to rumble.
I really hope that paycheck was worth it.
Yeah, it was.
Jeez.
It was 6 figures each time.
Each time?
Each time.
Oh my God.
Michael Buffer was not cheap. Not cheap.
Why not just leave the regular ring announce? God damn.
Because he wanted it to feel special.
I
And what
guess.
better way than with Michael Buffer?
Than blowing 6 figures every
Couple
months.
time.
Jesus.
They also used to use him on nitros.
Oh my God.
So on specialty nitros, they
They'll
used
just
to pay him.
burn 6 figures.
Yep.
And, oh my God.
Yep.
All right.
Here we go. So Hogan is out first. The final boss. Coming out with Terrible Ted and Vincent. They're coming down. Oh, yes, and of course, can't forget about Elizabeth.
I told you. She does just enough for you to be like, oh shit, she was also there.
She's so forgettable that because she's wearing NWO colors, she literally blends into the color scheme.
You think it's like a cameraman or something? You're like,
Jesus
oh wait,
Christ.
no, this is a person.
Yeah, like focus, zoom in. But Hogan is so cocky, so overconfident, hamming it up to the max, and it is wonderful. Tony Schiavone with a great call. He says you spray paint the belt and then you play guitar with it. That's what this man thinks about the world of professional wrestling. Wonderful. Then Roddy Piper comes out, the energy, the pop from the crowd, and Roddy Piper looks fucking nuts.
And it's funny because you see he wants to keep character and be like the tough badass,
Yeah.
but every now and then you just see him crack a smile
Yeah.
like, oh shit, they're actually cheering. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, the fireworks go off in the background and they legitimately like spook him, but he still has to play like surly old man coming in. Yeah, huge Roddy chants. This is the loudest reaction of the night by far. Great call by the commentary team that says even people with NWO shirts on are chanting for Roddy Piper. So quick collar and elbow tie up. Hogan pushes him back into the corner and says, watch him on a break. Watch him on a break now. I don't trust this
Then
guy.
smacks
Then
the shit.
slaps the shit out of him.
That was like that's proper heel work. Right there. That was amazing. Watch him, and then the second he breaks, just with all his force, just smacks the. Oh my. And the camera was right beside him,
Right
so you
there.
just heard that
You
clearly.
heard it. He does it a second time. He goes for it a third time, but Piper blocks and starts delivering the strikes, sending Hogan to the outside. Hogan gets back into the ring, scrapes the eyes, kicking, starting with the punches and the kicks and all that jazz. But Hogan misses the clothesline in the corner and gets one from Roddy Piper. Piper then goes to the eyes with the classic poke and then delivers another clothesline, which knocks down the Hulkster. A side headlock by Pipe, and he has it in tight.
Yeah.
Locked in tight. Hogan tries to shove him off, but Piper keeps it on there.
Hogan even does a backdrop, but nope. Piper just won't
Piper
let go.
just hanging on. A relentless pit bull. Piper then gets hung up on the ropes and is sent to the outside with a neck snap. Outside brawling continues. Hogan says Piper back into the ring, but ends up missing with a clothesline and gets won by Piper once again. A drop kick by Roddy Piper to the back of the head sends Hulk Hogan to the outside. They go up and down the ramp in the entranceway, battling Heather and Jan until they are choking and all over the place.
Yeah,
Roddy Piper grabs hold of the belt, of his belt from the kilt, and starts a whipping at Hollywood Hogan all around ringside.
Beats the shit out of Hogan
Beats
with that
the
belt.
bejesus out of him. Gets him in there choking. Piper's eyes are freaking wild at this point.
At one point, trillionaire Ted DiBiase trips him, and you could just see his I love his facial expressions. He just goes into this serial killer mode and just starts chasing Ted DiBiase around the ring.
Piper with a body slam as well, but Hogan is able to attack from behind after said trip up by Ted. Hogan is beating up Piper on the outside. Piper gets into the crowd, thrown back into the ring, and now Hogan starts to work the hip. Starts kicking at the hip, abdominal stretch to Roddy Piper. Doesn't last very long. Piper does a very mediocre hip toss, both men falling all over each other. Piper then throws Hogan into the corner turnbuckle. Then he runs the rope directly at Ted. So the both men are like standing side by side with each other. So Piper gets tripped and then tries to fall, but grab Hogan by the hair at the same time. So both of these men just collapse on each other.
Yeah.
And then they just start fighting. And
but I like the commentary team kind of saving it and being like, Piper's ripping the hair out of Hogan. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened, sir.
Then there's an inside cradle out of nowhere. Back to the eyes again of Piper. Biting, scratching, clawing, and then finally Roddy Piper with a suplex. A 2 count. Tries for the big knee drop and ends up missing, does Piper. Hogan goes for the leg drop and ends up missing. Piper getting up, firing up, kicking the legs of Hogan, kicking him down, beating him down. Hogan is begging off, and here comes the Giant. The Giant grabs him right by the throat, goes to chokeslam Roddy Piper, and all of a sudden a fan hits the ring.
Yeah, and what's funny about that, because one, it's supposed to be like a double chokeslam.
Yeah.
So Big Show's waiting for Hogan.
Yeah.
So Big Show's just holding Piper up. And he's like, where the fuck is it? And Hogan's dealing with the fan. But even what's more funny, if you go back to when Sting was coming out, that same fan had to be restrained because he was being, I guess, extra handy with Sting. Yeah. So that was kind of wild. I was like, oh shit, it's the same fucking
foreshadowing. So he's got Piper up there for ages.
Yeah, because he's waiting on Hogan.
Waiting for Hogan. Hogan does manage to show up and gets drop kicked by Piper.
Yeah.
And then Piper gets down, bites the Giant, and then just pushes him over the top rope. Then Hogan swings for the fences, misses, Piper ducks, locks in the sleeper, and the crowd erupts at the sleeper. And then the Hogan is fading. Can it be? Will it be? The arm drops once, twice, 3 times. Even Randy Anderson is like, what the fuck? And calls for the bell. The crowd explodes.
Listen, in the 2 weeks that we haven't been doing this podcast, this was the first time I've been genuinely surprised by a finish of a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely like, wait, what are we doing?
Hogan just dropped.
Because when they did the arm thing, I'm like, it's Hogan. Here it comes. Yeah. Here comes Hogan. And then when the arm dropped the third time, I'm like, okay, here comes NWO. Yeah. And when the ref just calls it, I'm like, here comes Eric Bischoff. What the fuck is going on? Someone has to stop this.
Clean as a fucking whistle.
Holy
Roddy Piper
shit.
Causes Hogan to pass out, and your new wait, what? Non-title?
Non-title.
What?
And when we do these reviews, I always look up the match card before we start because I want to have them all nice and neat on my notes. And I noticed that before I watched the pay-per-view, I'm like looking through, and then at the very bottom I see non-title match, and I'm like, I swear they've mentioned the title before, and I'm like, oh wait, I guess it's not, but I didn't think anything of it. Yeah. And then watching this, I'm like, oh.
The entire build, they did not allude to the fact that it wasn't a title match. They did not say outright that it was not a title match. They didn't, because all intents and purposes, this would seem like the perfect time for a title match.
But it was. They never said it wasn't, and they never said it was. They just said they were gonna have a
match.
That's
the match of the century is a non-title match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be that as it may, Roddy Piper wins clean as a fucking sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, according to Roddy Piper in interviews later on, that was one of like the prerequisites of him signing on with WCW.
He wanted to win clean.
Yeah, he said, you have to put me over. You have to put me over. And Hogan said, okay, no problem, brother. I'll put you over. Not for the title, though. Yeah, so that was one of the prerequisites. The Outsiders, NWO comes down. They try to fight. Piper fights off the world, ends up escaping with his head held high. Roddy Piper is your winner, definitively.
Mm-hmm.
That is the man that Hulk Hogan never beating Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Hogan gets back up. They start arguing with the Giant, say that the Giant dropped the ball out there.
Yeah, because the Giant, because before that, as Roddy Piper, because NWO comes in, they try to beat up Piper. He escapes, and he's making his way up the ramp, but the Giant's there, and the Giant doesn't touch Piper. He lets Piper walk right by.
Yeah.
Then the Giant kind of looks at NWO. And he turns his back on them and walks to the back. And Hogan chases down the Giant. And he's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. The Giant's like, hey, you guys didn't have my back in my Luger match.
Nope.
So fuck you guys. Yeah. And then Hulk Hogan does a complete 180. And he's like, no, you dropped the ball.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
You dropped the ball. You weren't there for us. We were supposed to.
I'm like, how are you turning this on him?
Yeah. He gets back to the ring. He holds up the belt. He gets the belt. He says, Piper, I broke you in half.
Yeah.
I beat you down. I ruined you. I'm still the champ. Spits on the lens. Fade to black.
Yeah. And then what I'm guessing is going to be one of the Giant's very few turns in his career.
Very few.
I'm pretty sure he's going to turn face, basically, on WCW.
Well, funny you mention, because the next night on Monday Nitro, Roddy Piper, the reason, allegedly, that he didn't end up going for a title match is because he was going to retire after this match. He says, I've done what I've needed to do. I've beaten Hogan. I've proved my point. I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Hogan decides to kill Piper. And tries to enlist the Giant to do it, says chokeslam the big man right in the ring, and the Giant refuses to do so. Instead, opts to have his title match that he won for World War III happen immediately.
I totally forgot about that.
Indeed. Says, I want this to happen immediately. I want it at sold out or whatever, I want it. And he says, no, you're not going to do it. You're dropping the ball again. You've dropped it again. So the Giant grabs hold of Hogan. He says, get out of here. I'm going to break his fucking neck.
God damn.
Yep. Hogan says, all right, guys, all right, everything's fine. And then everybody disperses. Hogan gets out of the ring, grabs his title, and then he's just like, get him! Everybody storms the ring, beats the shit out of the Giant, and we are on to the next pay-per-view.
Which is sold out.
Yeah. So,
and we're reviewing that one, right?
Indeed we are, Just John. We are going to be reviewing Sold Out 1997. NWO Sold Out, as a matter of fact. The first and only NWO pay-per-view. We will find out why.
I wonder why.
Yes. But before then, we have Match of the Night, Standout Star, and the overall show grade. Match of the Night, Standout Star, and the overall show grade for the Match of the Century show, Starrcade 1996. John, what do you have for me and why?
Overall show grade, 4 out of 5.
Ooh.
Love this fucking pay-per-view.
Lovely.
Start to finish. Match of the night, Ray versus Thunder Liger.
Rey Mysterio versus Jushin Thunder. Lovely.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes, I'm agreeing. Wow, you're getting real testy in the latter half of the show.
All these matches were great. Even the Hogan Piper match, all of these were great. But yeah, Ray Liger, awesome. Standout star, Lex Luger.
Look at you.
Yeah, love the Lex.
love sexy Lexi, do you?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Now, your turn, KJ.
Yes, match of the night is going to be Dean Malenko versus Ultimo Dragon.
Nerd.
Yeah, the cruiserweight title match, absolutely fantastic. Perfect way to open the show, and in my opinion, a perfect winner. No doubt about it. Ultimo Dragon, his build up from the bits that we have seen, he has been strongly booked. He's been a killer, got the 8 titles. Now he's got the 9th one. He's the push is happening for him, and I couldn't be happier for him. My standout star, I will give a special mention to Lex Luger, but it is going to be Roddy Piper. For the first time, the people that I'm actually talking about are getting the standout star moment. Actually, I think I gave Hogan the standout star at Havoc, but
yeah, you did.
I will give Roddy Piper the moment here because Roddy Piper, he showed intensity. He showed he put on a pretty competent match. It was ugly at points, but I do think that it still worked within the story.
It was still fun, yeah.
It was still a fun match. It was still entertaining as hell. Roddy Piper was super over, and it just goes to show, like, everything that they did, it made this match. Like, it made it worth it.
And it was the perfect ending as well with the whole arm thing. We're so used to seeing him Hulk up after that, so to see him just kind of fade, that was just a badass image
It's
to leave the people
victory.
with. Yeah, to leave people with.
Yeah, a shock victory. The old gunslinger manages to do it, manages to pull one out. It was a fantastic end to the show, in my opinion. And the overall show grade is a 4-star out of 5. As I've said before, I think 1996 Starrcade is much better than that of 1997, which is considered their most successful pay-per-view, and that's the one that they talk about the most. And I wouldn't mind going to explore that show sometime down the road and just comparing the two.
Yeah, we can do a little side episode.
Yes, exactly.
Make a little
and just seeing if that actually is the case. But as it stands right now, I am a firm believer 1996, absolutely fantastic. Starrcade overall, it had some bumps, certainly.
Yeah.
And the match of the century, it absolutely was not.
Yeah, that's the thing. The highs here outshine the lows. Like the low parts of this pay-per-view are things that you can kind of look past because just everything else is so great. That's
I totally agree. But yes, that is the end of Starrcade 1996. That is the end of the 96 year for us. We are steamrolling right ahead to 1997, which is the most successful year of WCW. So this is creatively the most successful year. This is financially one of the most successful years, if not the most successful. A lot of gold coming up. But we're going to look at the turn